Welcome to Sikhcast, brought to you by Sikh Research Institute, illuminating every path.
Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. My name is Jasleen Gaur, and I'm a trans creator on the Granth Sahib project. We're excited to announce the release of Bani Mahela Noma, so Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib's Bani in Rag Asa. So you might remember that Rag Asa is a musical mode of hope. And so in this composition, Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib is really focusing on the mind. The composition is short, but it begins with a kind of rhetorical question in the Raha line, where the Guru says, Birtha ko kon sio man ki? So to whom do I state the pain of the mind? Like, who can I express this pain to? Will they even understand? Can I even articulate it? And can anything be done about it, right? Like, these are the questions that we might ask ourselves. And the rest of that line kind of gives us this imagery of what the mind is up to. So the translation is, devoured by greed, the mind runs in all 10 directions. Longing for wealth is attached to it. So we know this in our own kind of lives, regardless of what manifestations they take, that like these minds of ours are constantly kind of running, longing for money and comfort. And we are often driven by greed. And we might think this composition is only about like people who are seeking extreme wealth, but it's about all of us at any kind of point in the spectrum of greed. We spend our time thinking about how we will pay the next bill, how to allocate our time, where to put our energy, all in the pursuit of some kind of comfort, right? So, or some kind of better standard of living, or for some of us, just survival. So I don't want us to like think that the Guru is sort of condemning us or scolding us for seeking comfort or for seeking the fulfillment of our basic needs. This is actually instead about what happens when that kind of thinking sort of swallows all of our mind's attention and energy and space. And, if not with money, maybe even this like scarcity mindset of like time and how we spend it. So we're seeking comfort, we're seeking wealth, we're seeking to constantly like have the next best thing with these constant calculations of how we spend our time and energy. And we run around in hopes of fulfilling that kind of goal of sort of gaining a new level of comfort. And it's that kind of like frenzied, blinding, greed-driven way of being, that desperate attempt to be pleasing to others constantly so that we might meet some particular end that causes us pain, that causes our minds pain. And that singular pain is the pain of separation. And the Guru has this imagery that I've really sort of been thinking about a lot as I've revisited this, us as stray dogs who are wandering from door to door. So we're seeking like warmth, we're seeking comfort. We might even be seeking a master, seeking an owner, seeking somebody to tell us like what to do. And when the mind is consumed in this kind of wandering, fueled by greed, and sometimes if we realize it, like pain too, it is consumed. And there's no room or time for praise of the beautiful one. Even like subconscious praise can't happen because our greed is so all-consuming. So it turns us into people who like have lost all sense of kind of shame. And the last thing I wanted to say about this is there's a vocabulary word that I wanted to touch on very briefly, which is kumat. So ku is like a negation and mat is like thinking. And so we could say this is like bad thinking or bad intellect or negative thinking or negative intellect or like flawed thinking or flawed understanding. This is invoked when the Guru is talking about the effect of the attachment of the mind to these kinds of like frenzied sort of attempts at seeking more and more and more. And this attachment causes that kind of bad thinking, that flawed understanding. And that's what's sort of destroying us from the inside out. This thinking manifests as hunger in kind of all forms. And so we're constantly like accumulating and chasing and constantly sort of lacking satiation, like constantly dissatisfied. And because of that all-consuming state, we can't even like correct or steer our minds in anything like close to the right direction. This is the human condition that the Guru is talking about. So the Guru is telling us like to even reflect on the pain of the mind, we have to pause. We have to understand what it is that we're longing for and what's driving us and whether there ought to be some other kind of longing, what else we can kind of fill ourselves with. And it's not going to be something that like is a quick fix. Like we can't just like kind of hope to snap out of it eventually and then like by some sort of miracle that will happen. We have to make a sort of devoted effort towards this recentering and this reflection. And reflection can be painful sometimes because then you sort of zoom out and realize how bad it really was. And so the Guru tells us the cure to get rid of this sense of separation, the cure to all of this pain, is to sing the praises of the beautiful one. Even if we are drowning in our consumption, even if we are in this frenzy, going back to that singing of the praises helps us to pause and clear the mind. That praise is what fills this body with kind of beauty and makes this mind and this body great. It's what brings us to our full potential. If we're constantly inspired by the praise of the Kunkar, of the one, in our minds, our bodies will also follow suit. We will cultivate virtues within. We will change our behavior. Our habits will change. And it is this kind of question of how do we treat the symptoms rather than the causes? So I hope you spend some time with this. As always, there's commentary, there's word meanings and footnotes, and the interpretive and literal translation and transcreation. And I would encourage you to maybe pause as you reflect on this Shabad and think about how you're spending your time. What is it that we're running after in this moment? Are we feeling satiated, or are we hungry for more? What is ailing us in our minds and in turn ailing our bodies? And will we make the steps to kind of treat those causes of our many symptoms of pain in all its iterations? Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
Read the translations and commentaries at gurugranthsahib.io.
You were listening to Sikhcast by Sikh Research Institute, illuminating every path.